Oh, it's just going. Go to live stream. I've got to press that. I think. There you go. That's it.
Have you got the stream starting bit?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad it's working.
Oh, I can still hear Civilization in the background.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's this should replace it actually. To be fair, have you got it somewhere hiding that you don't know where it was?
No, I don't think so. Well, tell you what, let me just close it down and go in again.
Right. Actually, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah, on my phone I can see the recording. Oh, hello everyone. We're doing testing. By the way, people are thinking, "What is this crap?"
Yeah. There you go. Hopefully that's okay. At least I can't hear Civilization.
Well, that's a bonus. Nothing against Civilization. Great game. Okay, so I'll do the intro bit. Well, and then I'll hopefully all this will work. So you'll see. I actually got this made for me.
Yeah.
The thing is, on the stream also there is a bit like a 10 to 15 second delay, so that might play a little bit havoc on what you can see live. All right. And one thing is also, when you see the live screen, turn your sound down because you'll be hearing yourself again.
Sorry, just the thing is, I'm getting a load of feedback here. I'm getting two of you. I think I might have to find some headphones.
Oh, you're getting two of me? Oh, hold on. If I put my headphones in, that might help. Bear me for a second. Because actually I do wear headphones when I play the gaming. So that should help you.
No, it's at my end. It's because I'm getting it through Skype and through the internet connection.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, actually, yeah, I got to keep the Skype one live for me though, don't I? So I have to turn the sound down on my end, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll basically talk to you using Skype, and I'll just turn the volume down on Mixer.
Yeah, that should work. Yeah, because I can hear.
That's a lot better. So let's just do that.
You're right, because I could just hear myself then. All right, so I'll do the intro bit again. I do like that intro bit, but on Monday or Tuesday, I'm actually having a brand new logo done, so it won't be that. It won't be that donut anymore.
Right.
Well, it will be a donut, but it'll be done differently. So, world exclusive. So, and I worked out my Twitch panels today, so I've done some progress. Anyway, I'll do my intro bit. Hello, everyone. This is me just testing things out with Mike. We'll do full interruptions, full things straight away now. If I just click the right screen, and I've been trying to set all this up today. And there's a bonus, is that you can actually see me now. Mike, there will be again probably a 10-second delay. So when I won't straight away say, do you see this, do you see that, because you won't see it until 5-10 seconds later, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
So you should now see me.
Yeah, I can see you. I saw you pretty much straight away.
I'm waving, even though I'm in the future here.
No, I can see you.
This is me in the future waving. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the beginner series of Managersim. This is now, crikey, this is 25 now. Wow, episode 25. I've been looking back. I started the beginner series, I think, end of June. And it's now end of August, so 2 months. 2 months doing the beginner series. Wow. Today is a kind of like a special, because we are going to talk about Elfsborg, obviously, because it is part of the beginner series. But I've got someone here with me, haven't I, Mike?
Certainly have.
This is the world famous Mike Turner.
Hello, everyone.
Do you want to briefly just introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Mike. I live in Manchester. I've been playing. Well, I used to play soccer sim years and years ago. I joined it back about a year and a bit ago as Managersim. Always run decent sides, so tend to do okay, really.
So, how many years have you been in Managersim?
Oh,
do you think?
neck.
Were you around the golden oldie days like me?
Yeah. There was myself, Andy Edge, and John Fowler and Dave Wilkinson. We all used to work together. So we used to have a little mini league between a lot of us in Greece. And then I really upset everybody when I took over Rui Antonet's team over in Atletico.
One thing, I'll flick back to the non-manager sim because I'm going to find some old soccer stream. Soccer stream? Have you ever heard of soccer stream before? Soccer sim screens. So if I just, because I'm sure you guys do not want to see my folders and everything. So I'm going to go and find out some old soccer sim. There you go. I got it right this time. Screens that I think I managed to find a few days ago. Well, in my folders. So if you just check, bear with me a second. So carry on talking, Mike, about anything.
Yeah, so I've just got a message from Paul Skelton. Apparently Liverpool are off his Christmas card list, having knocked him out of the Champions League and gone about 7 points clear at the top of the league in the last couple of days. So special mention for Paul.
Oh God. I'm just looking at some old screens actually. Well, they're not too old. Old screens that I used to have. So this is going to be a kind of blast from the past for everyone here. So hopefully this will work. Now, when I was at Oxford United as the manager, I used to have this star player called Harry Wise, and he was probably the best player, that I ever had. And Mike, you can have a look at this as well because I'm just going to put it on the screen. So I remember a lot of people trying to bid for this player. It was hilarious, and I think he was never sold actually, because this is when the game world actually ended. I think this was the game world before Game World 1. I think it was Game World 1. So it'll come up in a minute for you. Harry Wise. He's probably my best ever. He was my best ever player I think I've ever had in Soccer Sim Manager Sim.
Right.
So, 19 years old. Do you remember that star status was put there originally on the right hand side? Do you like the old version of this? This is actually not bad. The old version.
Yeah. No, I quite like the old version, to be honest. But,
yes. Yeah. Like everyone, this is what the game screen kind of looked like. Was it 4 or 5 years ago, maybe? So
it must have been longer than that. Yeah,
this could be well, Berhan would have probably confirmed about this. Hopefully we might get Berhan in the stream later. This maybe 8-9 years. So that he was probably my star player. So if I just flick back to, I will get a stream deck eventually, and so it'll stop me doing all this. We've also got the famous Manager Sim t-shirt. Now, did you remember that? Did you ever get one?
No, don't be daft.
You never got one?
No. It's like there's another game called Hat-Trick as well that used to try and sell t-shirts and things like that. So no, didn't touch it. And
oops, there he is. There's Berhan smiling.
Oh, something's just broke my screen. Hang on. Give me that photo.
I've still got the t-shirt somewhere. If you can make out some of those names. So K's in there. Kevin, the guy who donated so much to Manager Sim. I'm on the right hand side there, and Mark Stewart, Raphael, then myself, then Andre. So there's a couple of players who have come back to Manager Sim that's on there actually. Of course, famous Glenn, our famous guy, Mr. Dart Player himself. Yeah, there's Haiku, he's there. So I'm doing some blast from the past here. So hopefully, let's see if I can. There's some old stat screens. So there's another Oxford United youth. I don't know why. Oh, look at his secondary stats. Whoa. Now, Mike, when you see this screen, which will be in about any minute now, would you buy this player, knowing how good you are at finding players?
You're talking about Rosado here?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
No? Why not?
No. His control's not enough.
So he's a midfield left.
Yeah. To be honest, I prefer higher stats, like either a more rounded tackling and shooting in your midfield, or a pure defensive midfielder or attacking midfielder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
But I always go for high 80s in control and above, personally. But everybody's different. That's the good thing about the game. Everybody has different ideas of what they like in a player.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, I'm just... sometimes during my streams I have to make sure things are working. Obviously you're there helping me out, which is great, which means I don't have to act like a complete prat most of the time. So just let me know if the chat window is working, could you? Because I've just done a general command. It will appear soon, eventually, somewhere on that screen.
Yeah, something just did pop up. Something that's from Scotty Bot. Donut is an old nickname. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think I'm getting it very quickly, to be fair. So
what's that? Sorry,
I think I'm getting your screen quite quickly. It's not a case that I've got a 5 second, 10-second delay.
Oh, that's all right then.
I'm getting it very quickly.
Okay. Now this is one of my. Sorry, I know Chris Silcott. If you're ever watching this, I know you're a massive Millwall fan, and Oxford just beat you in a League Cup anyway. But this was probably one of my best ever league victories, and me being an Oxford United fan, and I don't like the Kassam Stadium being called Kassam Stadium. This is where I remember I told you I asked the Berhan to put the new manor in.
Sure.
So
he lied to me. He told me he couldn't change names of teams.
Well, this is the old version. Maybe the new version you can't do it, I guess. But that was a 9-0 win, so that was cool. So what other ones I've got? Here's good old Oxford doing really well. Harry Wise. Oh, he wasn't my top scorer though. Oh, that's surprising. That's when I kind of knew what I was doing. It
must have been a bad league, that, because I'm surprised Harry Wise scores as many as he did.
Yeah. Well, I only conceded 4 goals. That wasn't the end of the league. I think. I did all these screenshots because I think the game was ending. The manager of the server world was ending. Sorry.
Yeah.
Look. Yeah, how sad. The only time I was ever ranked number 1 in the world. And I did a screenshot of it. Why not?
You don't believe the rankings. They don't mean
anything. No, I know they don't mean the manager. There is manager points now, which kind of helps a little bit, but some names there from the past. Yeah. Pierre was a good friend. Shame he didn't come back. Why did I say oh yes, this is why I did this. Sorry, I'm doing a blast from the past here because we're talking about Soccer Sim from the past. I think I did the screenshot of this because of the amount of players sent off.
Yeah, you got a dirty team there.
That wasn't one of our good days. And there's the team. That's what the team looked like before we ended. So this was the old version of Soccer Sim again. Not much really has changed there except for the star ratings now. We only see really the top players' star ratings. We don't see the grey stars anymore. So, and I think the actual stats have changed a bit better now. But some of these names are so random. Like one of the strikers is called Fort.
Right.
Okay, so we'll go back to what we were here for. We're here for Managersim. So I'm keeping an eye in case Berhan can make it, because then hopefully if he can, that'll be even better. But if he can't, then hey, we got us two, which is just as good.
That's buddies.
So let's go back to what is your great? Can you think of? I'm going to put you on the spot here, and it's live, so I apologise. But what is one of your best what's highlights? That's it of Soccer Sim, Managersim.
To be honest, it's going back to the old days when the four of us used to play in the office. We just took over the Greek League, and it was just an inter-office bit of banter, really. So it wasn't particularly associated with Soccer Sim. It was just the medium that we just had a bit of a competition between ourselves.
So you acted like real managers in some ways in one room.
Yeah, exactly. It gave Andy a chance to try and catch us up.
All right. How many ticks a day was there on this one?
I only ever played the 3 ticks a game, 3 ticks a day games.
Yeah, again, people who are new to Managersim, hello. Look back at previous episodes for more what Managersim is all about. But ticks are how we go through time. So obviously this is not real life, because what year are we in now in Italy? Is it 2008, isn't it?
2009, I think.
2009. So yeah, we do 3 ticks a day. So basically it's a week a day. So eventually that will catch up to now, which is today, of course, is the 30th of August 2019. There you go, for memory's sake. So we get 3 ticks a day. I've actually been in the game. I think there was 2 ticks a day. I remember that one.
Yeah, there's also been single ticks a game as well. So
yeah,
single ticks a day.
You have to be.
I think people just found them a little bit slow.
You have to be so patient in that. So patient. I just got to keep remembering that I've got a webcam at the moment, so I've got to do a bit more, not down here looking at the table, but going, hello. This is the microphone's down there, that's the problem. So if I move the microphone a bit further up. Lucky it's a nice summer's day here in Oxfordshire, so it's not too bad. But let's go to the nitty gritty. Let's go to the Swedish League and see what's currently happening at the moment. If people can remember, when I first started the beginner series, I was the only one in Sweden. I was at Elfsborg. I asked Berhan which would be a good side to start off. I was explaining to him that I wanted to promote Managersim, and by doing that is to, just do some recordings. And eventually from that's how I got into more of the streaming. So thanks to Managersim, I got more into doing other streaming games and stuff like that. Even though I'm doing really hopeless at some of these games, but the Managersim series has taken off. We're now through, I can't believe this is the 25th episode, and I think the last couple of episodes we've seen, it's actually going to get even more interesting now, because I'm getting people joining my league. I'm getting people who are probably much better at me at Managersim joining my league. So Mike is one of them, and Mike has now taken over Helsingborg, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
And you've been busy on the transfer market. Let's go into the game, and you can see what I'm getting at. Now, Mike, you will see how much money my team has got, but that's not a bad thing. Everyone else has probably seen it through the other episodes, so it's not a major thing.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter. I've been told I've got the lowest cash in the whole league, because that's when I set the team up. I just asked Berhan to set me a team up with the lowest cash.
Oh, okay.
Or give me the team with the lowest cash.
Right.
And then he went and took the top team, didn't he? He doesn't like getting beat, does he?
Yeah, Berhan, why did you take the top team? You should have taken the bottom one. We'll just say, we both started with bottom ones. And he's top of the table now as well, in the last game, I think.
Yeah. He started near the top of the table, though, didn't he?
Yeah, it was him and Jurgarden, is that how you say them? That's why we need Berhan here. He can pronounce his sides much better than us. So, because I think he doesn't he live in Sweden? I think he does, actually.
He does.
So he probably can pronounce these better than us two. So let's look at the current league table. What hits you straight away about the league table? What do you think is going on at the moment? If we look at the league table, I'll make the screen a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm looking at. Because obviously you're looking at the live stream, so it's going to be not so good quality for you compared to me.
I've got it also on the other screen as well, so that's fine.
Okay, cool. So we've got Humby at the top. So basically Jurgarden, who are turning to a very decent AI side, because they are solely an AI side, because there's no human manager there or human bot either. They're battling for the title. There's only, I think, how many league games to go? I think there's 6 games to go now, or even less than that. Or it could be 4 actually.
4 it is, isn't it?
Oh crikey, 4. So it's going to be between Berhan and Mr. Computer Man. So if I was a betting man, I'd probably say Berhan's going to win that. But the interesting battle is going to be between positions 3 and 8, and you maybe.
I won't be competing at all this season. I'm just stripping the team.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying to be positive here for you.
That's okay.
You're 7 points away from Intertoto Cup place, with 4 games to go. It's very, it's risky, but you could do it. I'm trying to be positive. You might do it, knowing how good you are. You might catch up, but it depends on. Like, I'm playing Gothenburg next, so if I beat them, I really do. I hope I do beat them, and you win your game, then there you go. You're only 4 points away from them. So it can. Yeah, I think it might be able to done if you win your game, obviously.
Yeah, but you're not factoring the fact that I've not got a decent striker.
Well, I can sell you some strikers if you want. Does that sound familiar? No.
Neither of you.
No, I know. But my Karlström, my midfielder, scored 2 goals in the last league game, which was good.
Yeah.
I actually won. Woohoo! I'm doing that. I'm looking like a complete prat because if we look at the match form table, my form has not been good. You can be excused, Mike, because you've only just joined. I've been here for quite a while. And in the last 6 games, I've drawn 3, lost 2 and won 1. So when I beat Norrköping, I guess that's how you pronounce them, then yeah, I was glad it was a home game, I won it, woohoo. So I was happy about that because my form was slipping up. It was slipping up even before you guys started joining. And then you can see that, is that Morton? Morton's top of the table in form at the moment. He's had a really good run. 5 wins and 1 drawn. And then Berhan even. I will get that name eventually right someday. 5 wins and 1 drawn. So it's looking quite interesting how this table's going to end. Of course, next season is going to be even more interesting because everyone, cross fingers, their sides are more established. Mine might not be. Mike's, you're saying next season is going to be your season, or a much better season for you, yeah?
No, it'll be better than where we currently are at, but it's going to be the season after, because the youth players take a good season, 2 seasons to come through.
Right, if we go back to the league table, where do you want to be next season then?
Hopefully top 4.
Okay. I think one good thing about the Swedish League is how many European places up for grabs. I think that's a big bonus because you don't normally have half the league you can get into Europe. Because if you look at Italy, England, Spain, they're much bigger leagues and the European places are much harder to get. So this is probably another reason why I went to Sweden. I wanted to go into Europe quickly. And I did this season actually. And then I got knocked out in the second round of the Toto Cup. Typical. But which side? Let's look at all the sides and let me give you what you think of what the sides are like at the moment, and then maybe it's going to be quite a few episodes time. We can then reflect and see if we were right or wrong. Maybe this time next season, if you're up for it, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So let's look at Berhan's first side. Then he's got a level 5 side. He's got one of the top sides in Sweden. His capacity is same as mine actually. I'm not surprised he hasn't gone to 80k yet. But I'm sure he will eventually. Let's look at his history then. What has he been doing? He's only just joined. So to be fair, he only just joined February the 10th, which was, what's that, 2 days ago in real life maybe?
Yeah. We both joined on the same day.
Right. So Brendan Brown, he got from, that's an Irish club. So why do you think he went for Brendan Brown? I'm using your expertise because I probably don't know much.
I guess he needed a defensive midfielder, but I wouldn't have gone for him, to be fair.
Why wouldn't you go? Because of his secondary skills being pretty low.
Yeah, his control's only 62.
Yeah.
So if you think about the best that player could ever get to would be 100 tackling, wouldn't it? Because it would go from 91 to 100.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that means that all the ratings potentially could go up by 9, maybe 10 at the most.
Right.
So the best control that player could get to will be 71, maybe 72. And the kind of teams that I want to build would be better than that.
Well, your Milan side, obviously, in this country, in this game world, your Milan side is amazing. We'll show that later towards the end.
That's okay.
So, yeah, you're right, because he will probably go at 100 tackling and only still not bad, 87 passing, will he? And then 100 speed.
he'd still make a good defender. Like, I think probably if it was me, if he did go up towards 100 tackling, I would convert him to a defender because then his heading would be 86. I'd still want more heading on the defender, to be honest.
Right.
But the speed would be good. I think Berhan tends to go for fast players.
Ah, there you go. If Berhan was here, he'll probably agree or disagree with you. Yeah. Chris has just replied on Facebook about Graham and Andre's just asking if there are a couple of regulars, and I said there's a few, but you should be going to see the beginner series. It'd be great if they could join us here in the chat. It would be amazing to hear those guys again. But anyway, hopefully they'll hear the recordings. So we go back to Hammarby now, and we look at their full side and see, does he have to do much work? And clearly there's a little bit of work there, but he has got a pretty impressive start compared to other sides. So again, people who are quite new to Managersim, even if they got 198s and everything like that, doesn't mean they're the best player in the world, though, because you have to look really at their secondary stats in whatever position they're in. So there is quite a few players there that hit us that they were going to do very well. Is there any one of those, right, or a few of those that you would, if you had the chance, you would buy straight away?
Bergson's good.
Yeah, he's the international, isn't he? Swedish international.
Don't know, but possibly, yeah.
Yeah, he's got one cap already, so.
Yeah. The keeper, Zettersberg's decent.
Zettersberg? Let me find it. Okay, got him from Wales. Oh, he's an international. Was an international.
Yeah.
But everyone, by the way, what I mean by international, even if it doesn't say here that they're an international, because normally it comes up the country and caps and stuff, is you can look down here as well, national team, it tells you how many matches, and in this case is a goalie, how many goals he's conceded. He's only conceded 2 in 9 games, which is not bad for a goalie, actually. Any others?
Oldengrim, the MRC, he'd be more of a squad player, to be honest. I kind of look at how I want my team to look at in a 2 or 3 seasons time, and to be honest, I would say if you compare, like, I look at my Milan side as an example, or my Liverpool side in the England game world, and I don't think any of those players, apart from Bergson, would get into any of those teams.
So here we go. Sorry, Mike. Here we go, everyone. That again, this player looks amazing, but Mike would not get him. There you go. So it doesn't mean if they look really good, doesn't mean they're amazing, if that makes any sense. But yeah, if I, using my untrained eyes, I would say yes, he's good. But then I'm now looking at the secondary stats a lot more than I used to. And what Mike's saying is right. For instance, like some of these secondary stats are pretty low. His control's low-ish, his dribbling is low, his flair's low, and that won't improve because he's already reached 100 in one of the main stats. He's fast, which is good for a midfielder, but because his dribbling and flair is low, he's not exactly going to do amazingly well compared to some other players.
Yeah. The thing is, flair as well doesn't change. Flair and aggression are set, so they don't change no matter how much you train a player.
Right. Okay, right. So I'm just going to quickly check. Carry on chatting. Fill me in when I'm doing silent.
Okay. I think Hammarby, if you look at the overall quality of the league, Hammarby's a very good side, and they should be near the top of the league. I think what you may find is there'll be players like Andy Edge, who he knows the way I play and the way I build teams up, and he has been building his squads up in a very similar way. I'd expect Andy's team to be towards the top 4 as well in the next season and a half. So there's some very good managers in the league, and everybody's got different ways of playing it, and that's one of the beauties about the game. I suppose if I get on my soapbox a little bit, I like the idea that Paul Skelton, as an example, can play with 30 players in the squad and build a good team and be competitive with a small squad, where I prefer to keep a larger squad. There's no right answer who's doing it the best way, but I think the game should develop in a way that allows both types of approaches to
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
It shouldn't be prescribed that everybody should have a squad with 30 players and everybody needs 4 pure midfielders or 4 pure MAs or 4 DMs. I think everybody should just be able to choose the squad that they want.
Yeah, you're right, because, for instance, in real life, Chelsea are famous. They've got, 55 to 60 players. Most of them are youth players, and most of them go off on loan. Like, remember Fabio? Was it Fabio? I forgot his surname. Escar? Sorry, Fabio, if you're ever watching this. He was at Bayern Munich, and he won trophies. He was obviously a very good manager. He won trophies, he won Champions League, but he only had, I think, 26 players. And he was one of those guys who really wanted this squad to be limited down to just 26, 27 players. And a number of other players, me included, said, no, if we want big squads, then we like to have big squads because players get, fatigued. They play a lot of games. Just if we have very small sides, then we have to put our youth players in, and some sides don't even have youth players. So,
yeah,
what do you do?
It becomes a little bit too much of a lottery with the small squads because all it takes is 4 or 5 injuries, and it could be at the wrong time of the season, where, for example, you're playing the cup semi-finals back to back with big league games. And to me, that's not the purpose of the game. It should be about being able to manage a squad that's reasonable in size and then try and make the best out of it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of Berhan's side. Top of the table, I'll probably think I'm going to say at the end of this season they're probably going to win the Swedish League, and I think he's going to pull away as well from Djurgården. We'll just look at Djurgården, even though they've got no human manager there, just to see why they're doing so well. Because their last game, they actually beat Andy's side.
Yeah, but Andy can build great sides, but his tactics are awful.
So let's look at Djurgården and see. They're a level 5 side. They've got same sort of capacity, same as Hammarby. If I look in their history, they were runners-up 2 times out of the 6 seasons that have been going on. 3rd time in one place, and then so it looks like they're going to be 2nd again. Let's see why are they doing so well at the moment? Is it because their squad is overall pretty decent? Just moving your little icon thing down again so people, oops, that's too much, people can see it. There you go, that's a bit more of oh no, it's a bit too far for you. That's better. Now, can you see why they're doing so well? They've got fitness problems, definitely. Fitness problems, guys, is these what I'm doing right now. For instance, if you've got stamina and it's in the red or an orange, they really need to rest.
Sure. I think a lot of the reason they're doing so well is the quality of the rest of the league hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
I think there's no players there that really jump out at me at saying, yeah, I'd want to bring them into the Liverpool team as an example, or the Milan team.
Yeah, because if you look,
they're all solid players, but it's in a very bang average league until maybe next year, the season after, it'll be different.
Yeah, I don't think they're not going to be 2nd or 3rd next season. That's clear.
No, they'll be mid-table
unless they get a human manager though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. Because if you look at this player, Osman Vitsky, when you first look at him, you're thinking, oh, he's not too bad. But then your eye, obviously, you look at the secondary stats, and they're not very good, really.
Yeah, I don't worry too much about Flair unless they're attacking players. So 21 Flair wouldn't bother me. The dribbling would for a midfielder.
He's very fast, but the thing is, he's very fast, but he can't dribble.
Yeah.
So he'll run with the ball and then lose it straight away. Or gets tackled straight away. Okay, that's Djurgården. We'll do me and your sides last, I think. So we can talk about them. And anyway, viewers of the beginner series have seen my side quite a bit recently, so you don't really need to see my side too much. Let's go to Malmo then. Malmo are currently 4th. K, and I'll call him K because he's.
Let's see you put this one on the screen.
What's that?
Let's see you put this one on the screen.
Put this one? What do you mean?
Yeah. See whether you can fit that one on.
Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Go into the player screen.
Oh, for his side, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if that one on.
Oh my God! I see what you mean. Sorry, the amount of plays he's got. Yeah.
Sure.
37 first teamers, 15. Oh, but that counts as 37, doesn't it? Even though he's got 15 youth. So Kay has been here. I think he was the third manager to come into Sweden. I was the first, obviously. He's been busy. That's quite obvious. He has been busy. We won't go through every single player, obviously, that he's bought. We'll just go through his players screen. And Malmo are one of the most famous Swedish sides. People can definitely confirm that. And Gothenburg, I think, are another famous Swedish side in real life. You can see if in their history they finished third the last 3 seasons. Dave Middleton, he managed Malmo for... Oh, so he was in Sweden. Why didn't you come back, Dave? We want you back. For 6 months. And then he left. Where is he now then, I wonder? He's at West Ham. Ah, okay. Maybe he supports West Ham. And, yeah, let's go through his players. And, again, is there a kind of plan that Kay's doing, do you think, or...?
Yeah, he's trying to do something similar to what I would do. Take on young players, take a chance and see how they're going to progress, and basically trying to improve the youth team. You know, so all his players are 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, it's a very young side, isn't it?
Yeah, so the key is the first thing you want to do when you take a team over is sort your coaches out.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get good coaches and a couple of decent physios, you can develop your team by taking young players on.
Let's see if we can... Oh, it's under staff, isn't it?
Sure.
So there's his staff, and see... Obviously, one thing about Managersim, you can't see when he bought new staff in. It only does players. But let's see some of these coaches. Yeah, like Andres Bergson's 100 youth. I can't pronounce him. He's a 99 keeping defence. Julio. I can pronounce his first name. Roy von Beek, yeah, offensive in general 100. Schmidt, I'll just call you Schmidt. 100 in general and defensive. So he has been looking wisely, getting his coaches in. So that's good.
Yeah. And the thing you'll notice, say, with that team is that he's on level 3, so he can take on more staff than I could.
Right.
So, for example, the most staff I can take on are 3 coaches, whereas on a level 3, I think he can take 5 on.
Yeah, that's something I didn't actually say during the beginner series again, so that's cool. Any of his players hit you straight away?
Let me go on my screen, then I can kind of flick through a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And then when you say a player, then I can click on that player, so it makes it easier.
A second. Although his dribbling's not great, Solberg, the MC, might be good. It depends if he carries on improving.
There's so many players here, I've got to find him first. Oh, Solberg, got him. Okay. 4 assists. So he's got 4 assists, that's good. 7 million. I wouldn't be too surprised he'd be a future international, actually. Any others? Mackenzie's not too bad.
Let's have a look. What position's he? Sorry, he's
next one below Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than his control isn't what you'd want it to be, even if he maxed out at 100.
Mm-hmm.
And with an attacking midfielder, I'd want more flair.
Right. But he's not doing a bad job, though. He's
good. Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
19-year-old Scottish international as well.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I can't say anything because my team's not great at the moment. Like, I can compare it with Milan and Liverpool, and I can sort of say what the weaknesses are with each of the players. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'd be able to get comparable players coming into Sweden.
To be fair, in this episode, we'll do our sides last, and we also do Milan, just to show you how great Milan side is. It's in the Italian game world, isn't it, Milan? So
it is.
Yeah, so why not? We'll go and quickly do Milan right at the end to show you how an amazing team looks like. Because if we got the manager here, so why not? Let's go and see Milan. We've got the exclusive. So we'll go back to the league then, and there's an easy way of doing this. That's it. We go to Örebro, and then we'll do Alex's side, and then we do mine and yours. So we're near the end of this. So Örebro is managed by Morten. Hi Morten, who I thought at first was an AI, because I thought it was an AI bot, and then I looked at the screen thinking, I think it's episode 22 or 23. I said, is he an AI? No, he's not an AI. He's an AI. And then Berhan sent me a message saying, he's not. He's actually playing the game. And then I realised that he was playing the game because he was actually buying players, and a lot of them as well. And the stadium then went up as well. So, how busy has he been in history? He's another one that's making plenty of new signings. Mike and me kind of were chatting about this last night, actually. We think he's had a board warning. Mike, can you tell people who are quite new to Managersim what a board warning actually means, and why do we get them?
Yeah, you usually get them when the board don't want you to do something. For example, you can do up to, I think, 10 transfers in 3 sim months. Anything more than that, you will get a board warning. To be honest, I don't care about getting board warnings. I'll be getting them left, right and centre for the next few days. As long as they don't sack you.
Yeah.
And that's the gamble, really, because to me, I want to bring a few players into the club, and I don't want to wait 3 or 6 sim months to do it.
Yeah.
So I'll accept that if you're...
I'm exactly the same as you. I'm exactly the same as you. And also...
You can also get them for your economy as well. So if you're spending too much money, you can get a warning for that, and ultimately you can go bust.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to point out, is that I think there's only 3 ways you can get sacked. One is what Mike's just said about buying too many players in such a short time, because it causes uneasiness in the squad and the board doesn't like it. 2 is if your club loses money and going the red after a number of ticks, you get sacked for bankrupting the club, basically. And we do see that in the game. When clubs go bankrupt, they lose their top wage players normally until they actually start making money. And the third one is, which I think I did stress in one of the early episodes, is that if you don't go in the game after 2 weeks real time, if you don't go in the game after 2 weeks real time, which for Managersim that is like months, then you get kicked out by the board because they don't think you're around earning your money anymore. If you were earning money. So, is there any other ways you can get kicked out?
There are.
Oh, more.
You have a board expectation on your position at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, of course.
And if you go below the expectation, I think you can get booted for that as well.
So what Mike's on about is your goals this season. There you go. There's mine. So above, middle in the table, which I'm doing. I'm safe this season, thankfully. Next season. So basically what my goals mean here, Mike can describe his in a minute, because his obviously are going to be different. Mine is above, middle in the table, as we're hoping for third. So third is you're the best manager in the world. 7th is, okay, you're doing good. Yeah, we'll keep your job. Anything lower than 11th, which in this league is very small because we've only got 14 sides. So if my side finished 12th, 13th, 14th, I could likely get the sack. The board would not be happy. They want me to improve. If I don't improve, then I'll eventually go bye-bye. So, Mike, what's your board like?
Yeah, I've got avoid relegation, hoping for 9th, expect 13th, and can't accept lower than 14th, which I wouldn't want to finish below 14 either.
So I've just highlighted what his Mike's board is after. So you're 9th at the moment, so your board must be really happy.
On the position, yes, but apparently I'm not bad, but there's room for improvement, is the general opinion.
Oh, God. You've got no chance of finishing bottom, so you'd be fine.
Yeah, but the general opinion is affected by the transfers.
Right.
So if I carried on doing too many transfers and ignoring the board, ultimately I could get sacked.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to be a bit more careful there.
Yeah.
I've also just highlighted the board, what my side is. Mine is a bit bigger than Mike's. So, oops, try to do it now. From third, I can't highlight third for some strange reason, down to, so I've got to do fourth instead. I can't do all of them now. Anyway, I did do it then. 4th to 11th is my area. So 3rd to 11th, that's it. Cool. Right, we go back to Oribro briefly. He's now, St Morton's expanding stadium to the maximum 80,000. You can go more than 80,000, but then you have to spend more money. He's got a good team. It looks like they're going to do well. They're going to do well. Any outstanding players there? Like
Malston looks good.
Where's he?
The DMC.
Ah, him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm making the assumption that these guys are going to improve a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm. Be interesting this time next season if we do this, how well they've developed or not, if they have developed.
Sure.
Because 19, 20 by then. So yeah. Any others?
Duffy's good.
Duffy. English international. That's 17. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, but he's not going to improve beyond that.
No, that's true. So he could be one of those players that his stats could decrease a lot earlier than others.
Yeah, possibly. But I think if you play them often enough, they don't usually deteriorate too much.
Right.
They usually carry on. I think I'd be inclined to make him a defender rather than a DM, though.
Right.
But it depends on how the rest of the team develop. Because I prefer, as I say, midfielders to have more dribbling, but you can get away with less dribbling. Because I'm pretty sure I'd get away with less dribbling with Milan.
And this is the guy who he got for free.
Yeah, that's say the way forward is the free transfer list.
Yeah.
You don't need to go out and spend a load of money because players with teams that are good, the managers, if they know what they're doing, they don't sell the best players. They'll sell the squad players.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it might improve a weaker team, but there's a reason why managers in the top clubs sell players.
Right.
And it's usually because they don't fit in the long-term plan.
Okay, so how long will we be going on for, Mike? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably back thick end of an hour, isn't it?
Yeah. It does go quick, doesn't it? Hope everyone's still here and enjoying it. I'm sure they will. Right, so we quickly look at Andy's side. Be gentle, please.
No, it's early days for Andy's team because I know some of his players will improve.
To be fair, he's got a level 1 side, so fair play to him. He's got the lowest ranking side you could possibly have. So that means the board should be a bit more helpful towards him.
Yeah, but Andy will have the same issues as me at the moment because Andy is doing what I'm doing, which is raiding the free transfer list, getting players in as quickly as we can, and scrapping the players that we don't want. So his board will be the same kind of as mine.
Because since February the 16th game time, he has bought 9 players.
Sure. And he'll buy more, yeah.
Surprisingly, his club before he became manager, no pressure, Andy, no pressure at all, but I just realised you're the cup holders.
He's never won anything, so...
The computer...
Apart from promotion, sorry, I tell a lie.
a week game time before he joined, his club won the cup. So he's the cup holder. So well done, other manager. Sorry, Andy. So he's rebuilding, and he's just sent me a message.
Actually, Andy, he sent me a messenger that says great size but poor tactics with lots of laughing emojis on it. That's referring to the comment I made before about his team.
Well, hopefully he can come back and watch all this, and we're talking about him as well. Hello, Andy. Hope you're well. I have to be slightly bitter against Andy because you actually beat my side. Not in the last league game, the other league game. And he Facebooked me saying, great game against you, or something like that. But well played anyway. He's got some good 16-year-olds. He's getting a quite young side. He's got a lot of crap players, can I say, that he's getting rid of.
Yeah, it's hard to tell which players are going to be good because some players can look good but not have a great potential to improve.
Yeah. He's got a lot of players over 30.
Yeah,
That's one thing about the game I'm not so happy about, or not to, is that when we get the players on the transfer list, most of the players on the transfer list nowadays are players over 28, 29 years old. The old days, it was random if the player over 30 gets worse, faster, or slower. Now it seems that when they hit 30, 31, the stats suddenly just drop down. And if you look at real life football, like for instance, let's think of one like Teddy Sheringham, he was still playing Premiership football when he was 37, 38 years old. So they can still have those skills. Maybe the speed goes down, yes, that's just natural. But I can see what Berham's doing, but I think it should give at least a bit more random when you get over 30 for those players, because the transfer list is going to be full of, as it was when he first changed it, of 28, 29, 30 plus players, because people just didn't want to play them anymore because their stats were dropping. And no one was buying them, though, to be fair.
Yeah. But I think there's other things that you need to consider in that, is that if you've got a squad with older players, the chances are they're not going to be as good as the players that you've got coming through that you took on as 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
So you're not playing those players, which means that they are going to deteriorate. Whereas if you had them in your squad, and if you look it forward maybe 10 or 15 seasons, you probably find that if those players are playing regularly, the stats won't depreciate quite as much.
But if this game world was real, the Messis and Ronaldos would not be playing anymore. And
I disagree, because if it was Messi and Ronaldo, all the stats would be in the 90s.
No. Because in this game world, Messi and Ronaldo's stats would have dropped down by now.
I don't think that's necessarily the case.
No,
I think if they're not playing, they will depreciate, and also if they're not trained as well.
But the thing is, though, people are just
AI works.
Yeah, people are just not playing the 30-plus-year-olds, are they? So
exactly. So they will depreciate more.
Yeah, but you can see in the transfer list, there's a lot of older players on there, and then there's a lot of increase of loanies now. I've noticed a lot more players on loan than there used to be. But anyway, Andy, you doing good? Is there any players you like from his side? Even though he's rebuilding,
it's hard to say at the moment. Like for the quality of the league, the Marc Hultgren is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, his control's not what I'd want to be in a top player, but for this league at the moment, he's good.
Swedish international as well.
Yeah. He's going to be feeling a bit sore because I've just took a good defensive midfielder up from under his nose.
And Hultgren has been there since day one. He's a youth product, so that's good. Uh-huh. So viewers, if you don't know what I mean, but if you look at unproduct and there's no side there, that means he's actually been brought up from the youth team.
Sure.
Any others?
Not on jumping out at me. But
no.
They've not had a chance to develop his younger players yet.
He's going to do. His team are not going to, probably like you, next season, he's going to finish much higher than 12th.
Yeah, but it'll be 2 seasons down the track before you can get to the levels that will make him competitive at the top 3 or 4.
Right. Okay. Your side or my side next?
I don't mind. Do yours. Whatever you want to do. You're the boss.
We'll briefly look at Elfsborg, because to be fair, we've had 22 episodes of Elfsborg. So, so this is what my side looks like at the moment. It's now February the 24th. Money, fine. But I haven't got enough to get to a big stadium like what Mike had. My income when I first joined him wasn't that high. It was generally about 30-40 million, and I've been selling some players because they've just been awful. My youth academy's 8th. I've got a really decent youth academy, and especially in the first couple of ticks, my youth academy was amazing how many great youth players I was coming in, but I just couldn't play them. I bought expectations. My board wants me to buy more players. My wage bill is fine. They're very pleased. Best manager in the world. Be interesting to see what that's going to happen next season. When it's getting tougher. It's going to be a lot tougher for us. I think, I'm not just saying this because I'm not exactly the best tactician, but I honestly think I'm going to be not in the top 3 next year. I think I'm going to be dropping down to... How many human managers have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 human managers. Yeah, 6th or 7th is a good place, or 5th maybe. My aim probably would be 4th or 5th. depending on what the board is going to say after this season. I think I'm going to drop down from where I am at the moment. I'm trying not to be too negative. It's just that fair play to the other managers are doing much better than me at the moment. But hey, I'm buying some new players coming in, so who knows what's going to happen. But this is
surprised if your board expects you to do pretty well next year, because
I know that's
you've got
the
to
problem.
remember that, say, my team and Andy's team as an example, we're going to be filled with low-value players, so the board isn't going to be expecting us to do well, whereas yours are all higher value, so they're going to be expecting you to finish maybe top 3.
Yeah, and we've got the problem of too many players. We've got 46 on our payroll at the moment, which is way too much. I'm getting rid of 2 players straight away, but I'm bringing some in because of the pressure of other people coming in now. I built quite well. I have got some really good players here. I've got a good goalie, not the best goalie, but he will keep our side. He's an international as well, Czech international. We've got some good youngsters, quite a few from the youth team. That's a good ringtone.
No, it's the front door, actually. It's if anybody walks past, it goes off.
Probably my standout player is Ikersson, my 18-year-old Swedish international. He did 1 cap. That's probably, and Mike actually nods. I think he's actually nodding that he is one of my best players. He's all around good stats and everything, so I'm trying to keep hold of him. But everyone can see he's got no contract clauses. So,
to be fair, I think the reason he's good is because you and I have talked about what his potential is. So he should go up and improve.
Because if I do an assistant report here, so this is how you do it, guys, and then click, and the assistant says, there you go, he's a 10.10. He can go up another 0.8 and a possible captaincy role. So, yeah, so if he goes up another 8, he could be a 97. Ooh, that could be good. But then, when we were talking about players looking good on the screen, you can see why big sides are not always good, because I've got a lot of players in orange here, which means I'm going to have some stat drops. I try and get them on loan, but it's not happening. I get Mike to talk about this stat drop thing because he's got an interesting thing about including friendlies. We do that in a minute, because friendlies are not included in these stats, but Mike and me think they should be. Berhan, take note. For instance, let's go and find Buki. Buki, if you look there, don't get me wrong, Buki is a really, really good player. He's an Italian international. He's 21 years old. But Mike says he's not the best there. He's not the best player because of, and Mike will fill me in now.
No, he's a good player. You know, you got to remember, I'm comparing him to players that I've got in Milan and Liverpool. So his passing and shooting's great. His dribbling, and I'd like to see it higher, and the speed a little bit higher. If you're talking a real top draw player, then I'd like them to be higher. But I like Buki. For our league, he's good.
Hooray! Yeah, I should have given him a longer contract. So that's just briefly my side, because if you look at previous episodes, I talk about my side a lot more, and you don't want me waffling on about my side for a while. So let's go to Mike's side at the moment, and I'll let Mike carry on talking about it. I'll go to the player screen. Take it away, Mike.
To be honest, it's still early doors at Helsingborg. I've got a good DM there in Quateng, the 17-year-old. He's a 10 potential player. So he'll be a 98, 99 tackling passing player. And by the time he gets up to there, his control will be 82, which is a little bit lower than I'd like. But all the rest of his stats will make up for that. So
he's going up. So what's his...
I only bought him last tick.
What's his minimum and what's his maximum at the moment then?
It's showing us an 8.5 with a possible of 10.
So that means he goes up 15 points. Could go up 15 points. So that's what Mike's on about. For instance, 67 could go up to 82. Yes.
Yeah, but I think he's more likely to go up 17 points, because what you find is that the potential changes. If he's playing regular, which he will be doing, the potential stays at 10, but it doesn't max out at 98 tackling, as an example.
Right.
That might go to 100, in which case the control will go up to 84.
Right. Wow.
So it's a bit like coaches. Like people don't always appreciate that coaches improve as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take an experienced coach at 93 rated, people sometimes walk away from those because they prefer the 95s.
Right.
But that 93 coach, when he becomes very experienced, could be 3 or 4, maybe more ratings higher than that.
Okay. Sorry, we got someone on the chat. I better say hello. Hello, Altered. How are you?
But while we're talking about slaughtering my team, you look through my team and I've not got a decent striker. You look at
let's have a look.
Holt's my best striker, I would say, but
Holt.
at the moment the rest of my team's not good enough to be able to get his strike rate up.
Oh, okay. So, which current strikers you're playing at? Oh, you're playing these three, isn't it? Sutherland, Edlund.
No, you've got to remember, I've only just had 1 or 2 games.
That's your computer manager's doing that.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm playing with Holt and Varela.
Holt and Varela. Oh, Varela with the £1 contract.
Tell you, that's the way forward.
I'm trying my best to.
I'll be honest, and I've said this to Berhan as well. I don't think that £1 contracts should be permitted in the game. But if you think about what you can do, you go down the free list. You can use your scattergun and give everybody a £1 contract on the 5 years. And if they're no good, you spend 50 or 60 quid getting rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're good, you've got them for 5 years on £1.
Wow.
So they can buy a cup of coffee with it.
Definitely the way. Yes, definitely a way to look into it. Hope you're doing well, Altered. Hope you are well today. We are talking about Managersim, which is a football management game, which is free. I must stress, free. And it can be played on any computer because it's not, as you can see, very graphical hungry. And it's great. Any other players you'd like to talk about before we head to your Milan?
Well, to be honest, none of them are going to be really great. I've got somebody maybe look at Lundberg and say that he's a good defender. He is, but he's not got enough heading. So I'm hoping in 2 seasons he'll be a squad player or may not even be in the club.
Altered is Berhan. Berhan, do you want to come on Skype? If you're on Mixer, you should come on Skype and say hello. Give me a second. Berhan's coming online. The saviour. Sorry, Mike. Carry on.
No, that's okay. With Lundberg, his tackling. The good thing with Lundberg is he's got good passing.
Right.
People don't necessarily look at passing for defenders, but I rate having good passing in there. Now, his dribbling isn't good enough to make him a defensive midfielder, but as a defender he'd be good, but then his heading isn't what I'd want it to be either.
Right.
So yeah. I prefer it to be above 90 heading.
I guess dribbling doesn't matter so much when you're a defender, is that right?
That's right. It's helpful, but I don't worry too much. I wouldn't want a 20 dribbler. Don't get me wrong, but
who does?
40 or 50 doesn't bother me.
So what's the main one thing we can talk about before Berhan comes on? What is the main criteria stat-wise for a defender? Obviously, tacking needs to be good. That's an obvious one. Other ones, would you go for speed? Maybe if they're left or right, maybe.
To be honest, I want all of tackling, passing, speed, control, and heading, and not too bad dribbling.
And not much. What about aggression?
I don't mind too much, one way or the other. You don't want too aggressive players because they get sent off. Yeah,
that's what I was getting at. Like this Lindbergh, he's a Vinnie Jones, if people remember who Vinnie Jones was. Oh no,
I don't know.
Or Razor Ruddock.
I don't know how many disciplinary points he's picked up all the way through because you can't tell from the screen, can you?
No. Hold on, I'm just going to try get Berhan on. If you can just chat a bit about, if I go back to your side again, I'm just going to see if I can get him onto this call. We might have to end this call and then have a group cack. Goot cack? Don't know what a goot cack is.
Okay. But my team at the moment, it's full of 17-year-olds that might get better. In all honesty, I would say about 15 or 20 of them are marked for the sack already. So they're not going to be in the team for too much longer. Unfortunately, you can only get rid of one player per tick, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to get rid of them all.
Right.
I've probably got 6 players maybe that I probably want to keep for beyond this next season.
Okay.
The rest of them I wouldn't be bothered about getting rid of. My main good player is Quateng now. I'm glad that I've got him, and you're always looking for better ones. But Lundberg and Mertens will do a good job.
Just going to call Berhan, see if this works.
Hey guys.
Yay!
Good stuff. So let's see if this works fine.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you hear Mike? Mike, say something.
I can hear Berhan, so I'm hoping he can hear me.
I hear you guys. A bit of an echo going on, but...
Yeah, turn your mixer sound off.
Okay, how about now?
That should be better.
Yeah, fine. It was fine before, to be honest.
Echo is gone. Cool. Yeah, sorry it took longer.
No, it's fine. You actually caught it at the right moment because we've just been slagging off all the other side. No, we've just been talking briefly about Managersim and the game, our memories. I showed some old screens, and then we gone back into the Swedish League. And you can pronounce these teams better than us now, so that's one. Because me and Mike, we weren't struggling too much, were we? About some of these sides' names, but
don't worry about it. You're doing fine. So you have Hammarby, that's my team. So you have Djurgården.
Okay.
Djurgården. So Elfsborg. Like Elfsborg. Malmö FF. Örebro.
How do you say? Is it Örebro?
It's like
Oh, so no O.
No, it's
Oh, okay.
Örebro. So Trelleborg, Göteborg, AIK, Helsingborg, Halmstad, Norrköping, Västra Frölunda, Örgryte, and Kalmar.
It sounds so much better in Swedish.
Nah, I don't know. I mean,
like we say Trelleborg and Gothenburg. So.
Oh, it's fine. Who cares?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the stream again, Berhan's actually the saviour of Managersim. So let's talk about the past. We call you the saviour. Let's talk about the past of Managersim and why did you bring it back, basically? And thank you very much for bringing it back, by the way, from all of us. But
it was,
your memories of the past.
Yeah. Well, it must have been around year 2000, I think. Most of us got in touch with it and started playing it, and then it was quite a few years later. I think I written something about it in the magazines and here and there in the forums. But basically, I don't know if you know the story, but they sold it to a French startup called Reality Games.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then they tried to monetize on it, and for a while it went fine, I guess, but back then there were not many online football management games, so I guess the idea was good. I think they only didn't have the right model to monetize, and microtransactions were not a thing then. So as it is nowadays. So they tried to. There were like issues with getting payments, and there were not many services so you could use. There were like few. I guess they were using something, and it was a bit hard to get. I think they used something like tickets. So you buy a ticket to play a game, or like especially with the Euro games and World Cup games. I think it was World Cup or European Championship back then, around the year 2000. I'm not sure which was, but it must have been World Cup because 96. No, it has to be Euro. 94 was the World Cup, and then 4 years later, 98 was the World Cup.
Yeah.
96 was the European Championship. So
in England.
Yeah. So I think it was the best times around. Economy-wise, like people, but then there were not many players, I guess. I think they were like too early to get to monetize it. It's always an issue when you're too early in a market trying to enter and people not comfortable. I mean, there were like many real life experiences in such things like new web shops and stuff like that.
Right.
If you were too early, people wouldn't trust you with the credit cards. Now everybody buys online. It's not a big deal really, but there were many big companies that went bankrupt because they were too early entering the market. I think that was the case with the reality games, I guess. And then when they're struggling to get paid, of course they were struggling to pay the Danish creators, Peter Strand and Martin Bresson, to pay them their fees, what they agreed on. So I think it was something like the first payment was a bit late, the second never appeared, and they had to battle in court in France.
Wow.
So basically their French lawyer did a poor job, or they ripped them off. I am not sure. I shouldn't be saying being sure, but I don't remember. I mean, something went there, so they basically whatever they earned, they spent it on lawyer fees, and basically they were like pretty fed up with it, I guess.
Right.
And then they at least they got the rights to the game back, and then they tried again, second wave of trying.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember the World Cup version. They did a World Cup version.
Yeah, I think I have something in the code, but I never activated it because I've seen how it looks, but the graphics was ugly, so I didn't wanna show it. What happened after that was basically them trying to revive it again, and I remember the discussions we had on the forums, and they basically said, well, in order to make this go full time and we spend full time development, we need this kind of money. And I don't know how many active users we had back then, but must have been a few hundreds, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't be sure, but. And then there was so much talking. I remember writing in the forum that I really want to be part of this. I really want to help in a way, but I didn't think we agreed on something. But in the forums, people talk. There's so much discussion. Nothing happens. I'm more of an action guy. I don't like talking too much. Rather doing stuff instead of talking.
Well, you're doing well so far.
The discussion is good. Discussion is good, I guess. But if it's only discussion, nothing happens. I get pretty much fed up with it quite easily.
Well, that's why we're good. We got you here because this is going to be, obviously this is live at the moment. It's going to be recorded then onto YouTube, so people will be able to hear your thoughts about the game in the past and the game now. So we're grateful you're here. Aren't we, Mike?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Thank you. Of course, I mean, I personally have, of course, my goals, but also the community has always been strong. But I think in order to attract newer audience and a new breed of players, managers, we need to do some things graphically and visually in order to attract them. Like chess is a fantastic game if you give it time. If you really learn to play chess, you'll enjoy chess a lot more. It's like cigars and whiskey, So, but you won't enjoy it the first time probably. And I think Managersim is like that. So you need to really spend the time and really get into it, get into depth to understand the beauty of it. So back in those days, if you didn't catch a game world pretty early on, you'd need miracle to be able to win anything of significance, And nowadays it has changed so much, so many things that it doesn't matter when you join the game world. You still have a pretty decent chance to win something.
Yeah.
Champions League will take time, of course, because you need to be in a competitive league that will challenge your players to get better and better. But still you can win like UEFA Cup and similar from any team anywhere, and many managers have shown that, being in a small thing like Scotland and won the Champions League. That was
Hamilton.
Extremely,
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so lots of things has changed under the hood. So with the game engine.
Well, we were shown some old see if I can find them again. Some old screenshots of Soccer Sim in the past, and here's one for you, Berhan, if you might like.
Yeah, we did that.
Remember that?
We did. Yeah, we did the Kickstarter campaign.
That's it. I've still got mine. So
one of the guys, Kevin, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Puglisi. Yeah. Anyway, so Kevin is a very interesting guy because he donated quite a bit, some like $1,000 or something.
That's it. Yeah.
The final we were missing like almost 1,000. He donated, and then he went all silent. I can't reach him. I don't know. Maybe he's pissed at me for some reason. I don't know why.
He's American, isn't he? I think he's American.
He is. And he was one of the game masters, original game masters back in the old days. So, but the thing is, I can't reach him. I've tried on the
maybe
LinkedIn email or anything, but no, I don't know.
Maybe one day he'll be watching this and he'll think, who knows?
I don't know. Maybe he's mad at me for something. I don't know what.
I doubt that.
Yeah. I hope not. Anyway.
What is... I asked Mike this, and Mike, what was it again, your best memory?
Going back to when myself and 3 work colleagues used to play together. You've got Andy Edge, who plays the game now, and John Fowler and Dave Wilkinson. We used to just have an inter-office competition in the Greek League, and that's how myself and Andy really started playing the game.
And because I wanted to remind Berhan about that, because guess what, Berhan, my biggest memory was, the one that always keeps coming back to me, was now you have to remind me which game world did I become Milan's boss first time? Can you remember?
That's the Pledger's World.
Yeah.
That's the game world one.
Do you see what I'm getting at here? I beat you in the Champions League, my Milan side, and it was your side, wasn't it? Can you remember that?
PSG,
you were PSG, that's it. And it's now ironic that I'm the PSG manager in Game World 1. So, I still remember that, and that was what? Oh, crikey, 5, 6, maybe more years ago than that. And I still remember that. I thought I was going to lose that because it was you. And your PSG side was pretty darn good. My Milan side was decent, don't get me wrong. And when I saw the result, I was thinking, no, and Berhan's not going to like this. And
no, it's fair. I mean, back the thing with that though, like people would think, okay, I have access to all the database and everything, so I can tip things to my edge to win everything easily. But the game engine doesn't work like that.
No.
So you cannot, because it's everything calculated during a tick where the database is locked. So any change you do to a locked database, it will mess up things. It's going to break it. So and it won't work basically. So back then about that game, I think, it was first season.
First season. It was first season. Yeah.
And also back in the first starting, it was the data generated from the what people had done scouting. So you had Ronaldinho in PSG, and you had the real players back in those days. So the starting season was 2002, I guess.
Right.
June 2002. So you had some real world data.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, yeah.
I just had so many. Memories. Like I was showing the viewers, soon to be hopefully viewers, some of these old screenshots. Like for instance, you'll laugh at this one. Me, the only time ever I was manager number 1, and you were manager. I knocked you off the manager. I just noticed. Yeah. So I did some screenshots. I think this was just before this game world was ending. So Mike saw this all before, and there's Oxford, woohoo! And my biggest win again. Chris is a Millwall fan. Sorry, Chris.
But back in those days, 3-5-2 was like impossible to beat once you got the hang of it. So you could dominate for years with 3-5-2, but things have changed. So there is no one beat them all formation.
No.
It's all about the players in individual skills and the strategy and tactics and so on.
And dear on Harry Wise, And Mike, this is the guy that I had so many people wanting to buy him.
Yeah, the super kid. Yeah.
The old player stat screen as well. So it's good memories. I'm sure you've got other screenshots of previous Soccer Sim Managers which we could see one day maybe. That'd be amazing to bring back memories of what the game used to look like. But of course we're now talking, let's talk about the future of the game, of Managersim. So, what do you put yourself in your position? Try to give you not such a really bad question.
Go ahead.
A year from now, where do you think the game? A year in real time, not in game time. Where do you see Managersim in, say, this time next year?
Well, I really want to do things soon, and that is revamping everything and remaking and do a bit of different interface, and also a bit more fun with training and preparing for an opponent. Nowadays, you basically you could scout another team, and they will give you, the coach will give you assessment of saying, oh, in defense we are this compared to them in midfield and so on, and in attack we have my chance. We might have the chance to do some breakthroughs and stuff like that. But I really want to take the strategy part in a different level.
Okay.
So you'll need to do.
Will the game look like what it looks like, or will it be kind of like a Managersim 2 in some ways?
Yeah, it will be look different. I'll try to do some skinning possibilities. So as you do today, you can choose from different dark mode and light mode and stuff like that. So you'll have like 4 or 5 adjustable looks on it.
Because I have to say, and this is also from a lot of people, is that we've had many years enjoyment of playing Managersim. We don't want it to go. We want it to keep going strong. Mike will probably be nodding his head while I'm saying this. Hopefully, we want to keep Managersim strong, and we'll be here as long as you want us to be here. Because there's been games that have come and gone. I think some other online football games are still around, but I've seen like Ruby Soccer and stuff like that, which I know are good games, and Hat Trick and stuff like that, but they're completely different type of games. Like the only one I could compare Managersim to was, God bless you, Football Manager Live when it was around. I was a massive fan of Football Manager Live, and when that got, well, the marketing on Football Manager Live was, no offense, was awful. And it just fell apart after 2-3 years. It was an amazing game, and that was the only one that could have compared to this. And so keep up doing your good work, basically. So you've got all of us helping you out as much as we can. Yes, we will moan, but that is because we're moaning about certain things. I moan.
I mean, probably we'll keep this one alive as much as possible. I mean, it doesn't really take too much effort to keep it alive. Other than if it really breaks down, then we can always generate a new game world.
True. Yeah.
And I have lots of real world data actually from many countries, even those that are not Europe. So I really want to do a world.
A world league.
Not
a world league. Really, other countries.
Yeah, a game world. Yeah. So basically, you'll have to choose from the different maps of Europe and Asia.
So that would mean Brazil and Argentina. Yeah, Brazil and Argentina would be very popular, wouldn't they? I'm sure those two would be very popular.
Yeah. And everything, and also I would like to do a possibility of allowing to manage national teams.
Mike, what do you think of all this?
I think it's great. I think there's Berhan obviously works really hard on it, and I know I send messages to Berhan and we have a little bit of banter, but it's all in good fun. At the end of the day, we both want what's best for the game and to keep it alive and keep it interesting. And to be fair, it's a very good game. Yeah. There's things that I'd like to see introduced, and I mentioned it to Berhan, and there's things that I appreciate aren't practical to do. So it's getting that balance, isn't there, between what people in general would like and what in reality you can achieve.
Like every day, and I mean, unless I'm abroad, but even then I'd still go into cafes and try to find all my Wi-Fi. I go in and check my side every day. When a tick happens at 11 o'clock UK time. Even when I'm at work, it's at 11:30. I'm thinking, oh God, how did they get on? How did PSG get on? Normally it's PSG I'll look at most of the time, obviously because of my beloved club. I'm thinking, how did you lose that? Or, okay, like in the Game World 1, the original Game World at the moment, we just beat Strasbourg 3-1. I was thinking, we normally lose against Strasbourg and then we beat them 3-1 at Strasbourg. So, hey, that's the good thing about football. That's what football's like. And I'm a lower league, real life supporter of Oxford United. That's what football does. You have some good results and you have some really shit ones. And Managersim does that.
You speak for yourself, mate.
You up at what team do you support again?
Oh, I'm a Man United fan. That's at the minute.
You're not lower league.
No, I'm about Sim.
Yeah, and it's, I guess, one feature we have in Managersim, which then thankfully doesn't happen, doesn't have the end results in real life league, is clubs folding. Because obviously the news here in the UK, Berhan, you probably have heard this, what happened to Bury? Folding completely. That's it. Yeah. They're not a league side anymore. That's why I had to mention them in the previous episode. And luckily, thank goodness, well, I feel really sorry for the Bury supporters because Bury are in the same league as Oxford. Bolton were going that way, but thankfully they've been saved. Hallelujah. At least one of them have been saved. But I feel really sorry for Bury. It's not just them. Like, they had a guy from Bury FC Academy talking about, it's not just Bury's players, it's 140 kids they have to say that they can't go to a club anymore. So, yeah, it's really sad news. We do see clubs get bankrupted in the game, but they survive. They actually stay around, so which is great. I guess it's a lot of coding if a club goes bankrupt and then you have to think of a new one to put in. So you just can't do it. It's what's the actual... If you had someone making a suggestion that, for instance, in the England game world, Salford, prime example, Salford City are brand new. Well, not brand new. They've gone up the leagues. They're doing what many people love to do on the Football Manager series. How easy is it to put a new side in? Can you just quickly replace it, or is it a lot of coding?
Well, there are like files that are per country, and for each country you can design. I don't know. I have never tried how many levels of leagues, but I guess I wouldn't say unlimited, but due to calculating
well,
time.
If you look at the Italian game world, this is what you're on about. There you go. That's a prime example.
Oh, yeah. Won the league already.
So you can do a lot of depth on it, and also, but it's then again, if you want to keep interesting game world, I guess number of clubs should be around 500 or so. Too many, and you'll get like 30 minutes of execution time for the calculations, for the ticks to happen. So it's a bit too much for my liking. I want 10 to 20 minutes tops, and that should be fine. But then again, so you have so you have these files, and those can be scouted and done by people, but they need to be in certain structure for the software to make a game world out of it, and then I can do the structure by programming, so I can take real world data and do it look in a certain way.
So could you
and create a game world from?
So could you get someone like, just saying your name, Mike saying I want Salford's quite close to Manchester actually, isn't it? So. Yeah. If you could say, could I possibly, if I give you all the data, Salford, this is their ground name, this is how where they are, these are some players' names, rough position, and he gives you all that information. Could you just say, for instance, put Salford in? I'm just doing this as an example, not real life.
for a game world that is already running, so that's like a few minutes of work, so it's pretty easily done.
There you go.
So it's not a problem. I thought you were asking for a new world.
No. Just a side. Just a side.
Yeah, that's easily changed. So the name of the club and the stadium and the capacity and so on, it doesn't matter. So it's quickly done. It's the same with the player names and player names. They will take say 30 minutes because you do it one by one. And
so a game world is a lot longer then, obviously.
No, a game world is like you need. Then again, okay, if you don't have all the real data, it will be generated for you. So
Right.
I have files that are old, and I can just basically generate a new game world.
So you get player names database and stuff like that. Because I remember, was it a few years ago, you asked all of us for new names for players.
Yeah, because of the typical names that were used are a bit weird. Because like you can see in some of the Swedish.
Have we got an example somewhere in the game
Oh,
we're in
you
at
can-
the moment? Can we find one?
You can click on. You can be in your team. Go to Elfsborg.
Right, Elfsborg. Okay.
Let's see if we can find a guy. Okay, so.
Because Kallström, I know there was a Kim
Yeah.
Kallström, wasn't there, in real life?
Yeah, Kim Källström. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go to. Click on this Dyrestam guy. I can't see. He's number 8. No, lower.
Kallström, you mean, or
No. Yeah. No. Sorry, Dyrestam, number 9.
number 9? Oh, yeah, got him. Yeah. Rami.
Rami, right? So Rami was Rami Shaban was a foreign, moved into Sweden, I guess, in a young age. So Rami is not a Swedish name. Dyrestam is a Swedish name. So the names is like mixed.
Right.
There's no distinction of ethnicity. Like that's not the typical.
Oh, gotcha. So it keeps the Swedish surnames,
it's a
but
bit funny, yeah.
there's a random Christian
Yes.
first name.
Yeah.
So like I've got the Hulk.
Yeah, but this is a Brazilian name. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. I don't know.
And
So-
also, sorry. Also, I remember people who are new again to Managersim that we were also allowed once to put our own names in it as a sort of like a little. And someone bought my name. I got outbidded for me.
You have to be quick, mate.
Mike, did you get a player in there called Mike Turner?
No, I didn't. Funnily enough, I've got a guy called Mike Turner, and I think it's in the Liverpool team, but it's spelled slightly different. Tegner.
I had a
He's
John
very
Pierre
good as
Donny.
well.
I had a John Pierre Donny. I asked Berhan if I could put another player in there, and he was called John Pierre Donny. And I kept him, actually. He was actually turned into a really decent striker at PSG. So it's nice to have my...
Those things are quite fun.
It's quite fun. Okay, we'll go. Thanks for telling us a bit about the future. We'll end this very soon because it's been going on. Well, it's been really good. We'll just briefly talk about Swedish Division 1. Why not? Because we've got 3 managers here in one go here. So again, this is episode 25, the beginning series, and for at least 20 episodes, it was just me in Sweden. Suddenly, we've had a lot of new guys turning up, wanting to play, wanting to do well in Sweden, and that's great because it will make the next couple of episodes even more interesting. Who sort of like got you, Berhan, to join the Swedish League? Is it me? Was it me? Or was it someone else?
Yeah, like several people were asking me if we can lower the club levels so they can join because they were new managers. So they start with level 1 in this game world. So they really wanted to give you a challenge, and sure, I agreed. So it's fun. So then I also got excited. So I really wanted to join to mix things up.
We got a small bone to pick with you, Berhan, and take this in a very, very funny way.
Sure.
Why did you choose a level 5 side and not a level 1 or 2?
The thing is, actually, I had played earlier in this game world, so my level was up to level 6, I think.
Right.
I think also I was in the first Champions League final of this game.
Okay, let's have a look. International clubs. Stat computer.
Stat computer, yeah.
I very rarely mention the stat computer actually here. This is a very early episode when I did that, so we're going back to something which I've done not a while ago. This reminds me of my old Spectrum computer.
That was the computer, the Commodore 64.
Mike, what was your first computer? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was a ZX81.
ZX81?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike is a bit older than us, I guess.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Mine was an Acorn Electron, so I wasn't too far behind you.
I started with the Commodore 64 and started programming.
You're the youngster.
And I was 15. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
I'm looking at the stat computer.
If you go to the final,
Yeah.
you're in the right spot. Yeah. So if you go back to it was no.
Could have been the next one then.
Is this the England game world? No, it's the Italian, right?
This is Italian, yeah. Is it in a different game world?
Yeah, it must be because I've won every Champions League in the Italian one, apart from one.
Oh,
Boast.
But then I was in the final. I probably was in the final against you, wasn't I?
Let's have a look.
I think there was one that you beat me in the final.
Perugia?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I think I was.
Ah, there we go.
If you go to the Perugia club and you can see the history, if it was me, or you just click on my name in the.
Oh yeah, hold on, my zoom's got a bit too big there. Perugia. They are.
The club history.
They are. Yeah.
Yep.
You were there until 2 years.
Oh, you see, wins Champions League against Milan.
Yeah.
That's the only one I lost. But
Mike,
after that, you did the run of it and you saw the squad I was building.
Come on, mate! I quit the game.
let's go to 2005. I think it was, wasn't it? What was that? 2005. So I need to go back.
Oh, that's the Championship, European Championship.
Oh, no, Champions League.
Champions League, it is, yeah.
There you go.
Sorry,
Back again. You beat Milan 2-0. What year was your only defeat? There we are, 1-0. Oh, okay, it was close then.
Yeah.
It was close, Mike.
I seem to remember he was outplayed. He got a lucky shot.
The
A goal is a goal, mate.
Well, funny enough, here's a match report. No, I haven't got them, so don't worry. So we were talking about. We'll quickly go back to Milan, actually. So Mike and me were going to talk about Milan and how well he's done there. That is probably the super club of the Italian game world. It's fair to say, I think. You can see how many times they've won the Champions League. Yeah, you've done an amazing job there, Mike. So yeah, you've kind of like accepted a new fresh challenge in Sweden now.
Well, I'm still keeping the Milan club on. What I've always said that I would do with the Swedish team is that I won't trade or loan players from Milan. It's literally a completely independent thing.
Yeah.
I just did the Swedish League just for a bit of fun, just to give you a little bit of competition, really.
It's working. And looks like 4 other people got that bug as well. So it's great. So we go back to the Swedish League. We'll end this soon because it's nearly been 3 hours. Is it 3 hours? When did we start, Mike? Can you remember?
Probably about 4 o'clock, wasn't it? About
2 hours then. 2 hours then. And I'm sure you both got other things to get on. So there's the Swedish League at the moment. So let's put our little prediction hat on. Where do we see these sides finishing next season? I'm betting that, Berhan, you're going to be up there.
Well, the thing is, Hammarby had already a very solid team. I think 3-4 players and you get a really, really competitive side. But all the other teams are pretty solid as well, especially with the new managers joining in.
Mm-hmm.
They find the best players, and so. But one season is a too short time. That's the thing with the new managers. They want success in 1 year. It's not possible. It's not
No
reasonable. So it takes time. Like that's why many people start to second account, third account, and trading with each other, because you really have to learn to play the patience game. And once you master that, then it's all joy. So of course you cannot have success overnight.
No.
That's the most important thing one can learn from this game, that have patience.
Well, I'm just happy to be third.
But to be fair, that's what we said before, wasn't it? Because you asked me how I saw my team going, and I said it would be 2 or 3 seasons before I'm competing with anywhere near the top.
2 seasons' time, it'd be interesting to see what this league looks like. But I kind of gave people warning a couple of episodes ago that I've done 24, not including this one, 24 episodes. 22 episodes at Elfsborg, and I need to now soon go over to a large club to tell you what I do about large clubs. But because of people joining this league, I'm now thinking I should stay here a bit longer now, just for the banter, and all my episodes, my future episodes will be a bit more like blinking Sky Sports grandstand, whatever. I'll be saying, this is what's happening in the league. Oh, Birmingham's just lost to Morton 3-0 in the cup. That was a shock, blah, 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 blah. And this is how my Elfsborg, who are struggling for relegation. No.
You should be aiming to make Elfsborg into a big club.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's the purpose of the game, isn't it?
That's the purpose of the game. My purpose of the game is to beat Berhan easily.
Well, I think it's you're onto something. Like we could all move to a different country to get just to have fun, but also I think it's good to, when doing the series, like to have a full season of seeing what's going on and what happens, and also the new things. When you join a club, you actually get some sponsorship. That's interesting also to see, perhaps, and having this challenge of restarting a new club, a new challenge, and seeing from that perspective. And also about that, many people, newer guys, they join a club without really analyzing it, and then they see that it's almost impossible to get things together in reasonable time, and they get fired. That's the thing. You really have to analyze a club before joining. Do I have enough time to turn things around? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And
well, it's
don't just take any club. You have to.
No, exactly. I think because of the banter we've got already going on, it's kind of revived some sort of interest in the Managersim, especially what's going on then. I don't know. It's maybe, I'm not trying to pat my own back here, because that's very rare. Maybe the beginner series has kind of helped, because people have been watching the beginner series and thinking, I might want to give Donut a challenge here. So let's give Lord Donut a challenge and become a manager in his own league. Then Mark will have to talk about Mike's team or Berhan's team, because they're actually in the league, the same league. So I'll be saying, today I'm playing Berhan's side in the cup game, and then find out in a couple of ticks turn if I actually won that game or not. And here's what Berhan's side and here what Mike's sides look like, and what I think they're doing. So again, what Mike and me are thinking of doing, maybe we do something similar to this again in a couple of months' time, game time, to see what the next season looked like, and then the season after that. And also it's good for you guys to compare what your old side looks like compared to what your side now looks like. This is not now, I mean now in 2 game years time, if that makes sense, how much it's changed. So yeah, I'm just looking at the manager ranking list, and you can see that Mike and Andy have been busy buying players because they got minus points. So
I think when you start joining, you start with 0, but then you can lose sometimes points. But, it will pick up. It's not a big deal.
My Lord Donut's on 21. He's never really gone up that high in points, actually. But
I think I did something with the program that this points thing doesn't work optimal, I think, but I need to check it. And nobody has complained there. So I didn't bother touching it really. But I think it has stagnated in a way, so it doesn't really...
Well, I think it more so in the original Game World. Game World 1, the oldest Game World that's currently alive, I mean. It's always... The manager rankings list, as I think Mike and me agreed on, that it doesn't really mean too much, because in the Game World 1, no offence to him, Stefan is always 1 or 2. And he's not in a competitive league whatsoever. He's only by himself. He's got the computer human AI bots now, which make it a little bit interesting, because I noticed he actually suffered his first defeat, I think, in about 5 seasons or something.
Like 10, 15 seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
He's been dominating there for decades, I think. At least a decade.
Yeah, but if he's having fun, then fair play to him. If he wants to carry on being Antwerp's manager, then yeah, great. But me, myself, I wouldn't go into a league when I'm the only human manager. The only exception, obviously, is this one. Because remember when I first mentioned to Berhan about I wanted to do a beginner series, and it'd be good to go into a smaller game world and maybe by myself for a little while as well. So this is probably the exception to the rule. And then suddenly I've got 5 new people joining me, which is great. There's still more room for other teams, by the way, guys. If you ever want to come and join us, please do. And then, Mike, you might have that old banter again.
Yeah. No, the thing is, actually, why are you just talking about people in smaller leagues? And some of this, like, just take it in the spirit that it's meant. I don't mind people working in smaller leagues and being in a club of one. But I think a couple of the issues within the game as a whole is that, say, the cash generation that can happen.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if there's a way at some point in the future of having it so that, say, for example, if you're in a league that's dominated by human players, that you're able to fill your stadiums up, or you're able to get the gate receipts to a level that everybody's getting at the moment. But if you're in a league where there's only one person in there, that maybe the possibility to generate the cash isn't quite as good.
Bit of a penalty, you think? You mean like a?
Well, yeah, just like, because in reality, nobody's going to watch a game of football if Man United are playing, I don't know, Oxford every game of the season. You know, like, there's only going to be so many to...
I didn't hear that. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You see what I mean? And
yeah.
Say, everybody plays the game differently, and that's what I enjoy about the game, is that I like the idea of being able to have a setup with maybe 30 or 40 players, and I play the game differently, as an example I gave you before, to say Paul Skelton, who will keep a squad level that's less than 30. But there should be room to be able to play the game in more than one different way and still be competitive. You know, I like the idea of not having any prescriptivity in respect of how many midfielders you need, or how many defensive midfielders you need, or you have to have 4 MAs, you need to have at least 4 DMs. I prefer to have the autonomy to do whatever every manager wants.
Right.
There may be coding reasons behind it.
You mean the board saying they're upset, the unhappy players bit we always get, saying you've got, like, I'm just looking at Bern's how many side. I bet you the board is nagging you about your MAs. Because you've only got one.
No, actually, no. The thing with the DM and MAs, the board doesn't mind them. I mean, they don't nag about it. So the board will nag about if you have fewer than 3 goalies, less than 2 or 3 defenders, more than 7. I think.
Okay.
It has to be proportional to the formation type. You have like 5 defenders and 5 midfielders, and I don't know if we have 5 forwards formations. So, but the thing with the defensive midfielders and offensive midfielders, you have too many. They will probably
10. I didn't realise I had that many.
So I think they will start nagging after you have too many.
I might need you to boot some of them out, because I can't get rid of many at one time, sadly.
And I know many people have problems with that, but the alternative was like many teams had goalies, then you had defensive midfielders, offensive midfielders, the whole team. And that makes no sense.
Right, what's the code then, while you're here, of when you first start a club, you only can get rid of 1 player, and then suddenly you can get rid of 2?
No, that's dependent on the level of the club.
Right.
So if you have a 8 level club, then you can get rid of 8 guys. So each booting is like a meeting occasion per week. So it counts up. So if you kick 1 guy now and the next kick 2 and the third kick 3 more, then you have like 1, 2, 3. So number 6 or 6th level club game. Club level, you know.
I mean, per tick though, you can only get rid of 2 per tick though, can't you?
I think that was earlier, but now it all depends on the club level, I think.
Because I never tried it at PSG. I might try it one day then.
Yeah, go ahead, try it. You'll lose absolutely nothing for trying. They will say you cannot.
Well,
you don't have more time to do any such talks before.
I need to get rid of them first for a reason. But Mike, any questions you want to ask Berhan before we end?
No, well, I think myself and Berhan, we kind of talk about bits and pieces on messaging anyway. I think we both agree there's an issue in respect to the cash generation. And, you know, it's finding a way that actually works. You know, like, we've all got different views on youth academies, where, for example, I don't spend a penny on youth academies because I've never found it worthwhile. So that then makes the cash generation a problem within the game, because if I'm not spending money on the youth academy and I'm also taking players on £1 contracts, I'm going to be generating cash. So I don't think there's not a simple way probably of addressing it. Mm-hmm. It's just a case of, like, I've been very open and honest about the £1 contracts. There's quite a few managers in the game.
If people are catching us late, this is, and I clicked the wrong icon. The £1 contracts. This is amazing to look at. This is what Mike's getting at. This I agree. This has got to be fixed because the amount of £1 contracts he's got in his side is amazing, and they're 5-year contracts as well.
Yeah.
So
well, they've only been playing for 2 days.
Yeah, that's one thing that needs to be fixed eventually. Not now, because Mike wouldn't be very happy. That is amazing.
The thing with those, I don't mind the £1 contracts really, but one problem is the clubs are too rich in the game world. And if you remember back in the days, 15 years ago or 20 years ago in real time, there was also a lot of struggle with getting money in the club. What has happened since then, we can actually steer the intake so that ticket prices and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also
ticket price,
clubs, if you have a successful club, it will accumulate on some points and it will become a bigger and bigger club. It will be reset at the end of the season, but still it will be based on the club level. So clubs take in a lot of money. That's why really the clubs should pay a lot of money for the players' contracts and
I think
300,000.
Yeah, I think what Mike's getting at is, no offence to the manager of Benfica in the original game world, is that's a prime example. Benfica got too rich?
Yep.
What happens if a side goes close to the 1 billion mark?
1 billion is not a problem. It has to do with how integers are stored in the database.
Right.
So basically, you have 2 billion something, and £1 above that, it becomes a minus. It becomes a negative number.
Ooh,
so from
can you imagine
2
that
billion,
happened to him?
It happened to him.
Did it? Did it actually happen? Oh my god!
Happen. So
wow.
He after
he had that much.
He had. But he plays the game only to buy and sell, so it's his joy. So he had
Fair enough.
2 billion, and the next tick was he was upset on what happened. I
bet he
took the money, and then I saw that the database was storing in.
So what did you do? Did you how much money did you put back in?
I took 1 billion of him and put his stadium to 180,000 capacity instead. So I told him, you have no reason to have 2 billion in the club.
I'm shocked by that, Mike. 2 billion in the bank.
That's okay. I've got a fair bit in Milan, to be fair. But what I think may be quite helpful in this kind of respect is that at the moment you can only spend 3 million coins on a stadium expansion at any point in time.
Yeah.
If you could you potentially spend more than that? That might draw some of the money out of the game. I know. Conversely, it'll mean that stadium sizes ultimately will be bigger, and you can then generate.
Well, why don't you force? For instance, I can't do it on my Elfsborg site because I'm actually currently building at the moment. Why don't you just increase the cost per seat instead?
That's actually I'm considering doing. It's an easy way of.
That'd be easy, wouldn't it?
Killing money in the game.
Like for instance, an 80,000 stadium will have to. How much does an 80,000 stadium cost you at the moment?
We can double it easily.
Yeah, even triple it even. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because how much is it I can't. Mike, can you go into your site and find out how much an 80,000 stadium is?
Yeah, let me have a look. I think I've got over 100,000 stadiums.
Because I can't on mine because I'm actually building. So
just 1 minute, I'll tell you in a second.
Guys, the thing with the stadium cost, it depends on which country. Building in England, it will be costing a lot more than building in Sweden.
Right, gotcha.
So it's based on the economy. There's an economy factor in per country. So building in Albania will cost a lot less than building in.
Now that kind of makes sense, yes, because the crowds. But after saying that, would you get 40,000 Albanians watching a league game? Probably not, unless they're a really big side, I suppose. Or unless their club level's really high. Yeah, it's all these factors, you're right. So could you, for instance, I know it might be a lot of coding, and we're trying to get the money down in the game, so we're not making it worse for you guys. Could you, for instance, for an 80,000 stadium in England, when there is money, triple it, while in Albania it could be what it is at the moment, for instance? I
think we should triple it all over the
or
place.
Triple it all. Ah. Yeah. That's including you. That's your fault, Mr. Benfica. We're joking.
No, but also besides that, I'm also thinking that once we had the board taking the money of, if you have like enough money for wage structure you have at the moment for the next 2 years, anything above that, the board should take and pay out
wage cap
to shareholder, to shareholders. So basically, it will drain money so quickly, so you'll have to either spend it or invest it in new
Could
players.
you put a wage cap in? Like, you can only spend 1.8 million on players if you're a level 8 side, or you can only bid 300,000 if you're a level 1 side, or...
Yeah, but people hate that.
Yeah, well, it's a way of getting rid of money, though. But it will stop the transfer market, though, wouldn't it? So
yeah,
and we don't want that.
The transfer market is quite fun to be involved in. So let's not put the restrictions on that. But
no.
I think there are creative ways of draining the money, like the board taking it out and paying so-called invisible investors,
right,
shareholders, whatever. So the money will slowly
definitely
drain down.
Definitely don't put the winter transfer market in where you can only bid at certain times. Keep it as it is, I think.
Yeah, I think
that won't work
in this things game. The transfer market is fine as the way it is. Yeah. Or many people will get really upset.
Yeah, keep that as it is. Mike?
I think the one suggestion that I'd have at the moment to help to drain the cash away is, at the moment, if you've got an AI team, you can't buy players from an AI club if there's less than, say, 24 players in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were able to buy players, because there's a couple of players maybe that I'd be interested in buying, like Milan or Liverpool or whatever, where I can't physically buy them. And I know that the way it works is, if there's enough players in the squad, if you put a multiple of X times the value of the player, if there's enough players in the squad, the player will probably leave and come to you. So if, for example, I paid 100 million for a player, the AI team at the moment wouldn't sell because it's not got enough players in the squad.
Yeah.
But if I was to buy it, there's 100 million then in that club.
Which the AI could use to spend on players.
They could then buy new players if needs be, or you could drain the cash out of the AI club because nobody's in that club anyway. It's not going to affect another user. And they could maybe have that 100 million whittled down to, say, 10 million. So ultimately, there will be a drain of the cash from the game. At the moment, there's no player that on the market that I'd want to buy, either Milan or Liverpool.
Yeah.
Whereas if I could go into an AI club with 23 players, as an example, and pick a player up for 150 million, I would probably do that. And then there'd be the option then to pull the money out of the AI club.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
It might be problematic programming it though, because one way they try to buy players, these AI teams, and usually target the better players, and usually they get them, but they stop buying after they have like 25 players. They don't need more, and really nobody does really, but that's a different story. So, but I get it.
Berhan. I couldn't manage.
Yeah, I know.
Players.
Yeah. But I mean, like Fabio won the Champions League. I don't know how many years in a row with 20-something players, 23 or 24 players. So you don't really need. But sure, it's good to have. It's fun to have.
I'm getting the game error.
You know what happens? They're like web services and game services, and when they get too much using up memory, they will be reset, and it takes few seconds to.
Sorry, I thought it was my. I've been having dodgy internet the last few days, so I was thinking, no, don't do this. But I think that's actually a pretty good way to end our episode today. I think because. Yes, the game's gone down, but as Berhan said, it does this occasionally. Yeah, it's taking too long to respond now. So I'll say thank you very much
I know what has happened.
What's happened?
My server is down. I'll check it.
live and exclusive. These things do happen, but they will come back.
Great. Thanks for your time, guys. That's been great.
Yeah, thanks very much, Berhan. But thanks very much, Mike, for doing this. And I hope you enjoyed this talk and conversation. And again, I hope we can do it very soon, maybe in a couple of two seasons' time in the Swedish League, and then see a before and after. But thanks very much, guys. And I hope you both enjoyed it. And I hope everyone's enjoyed watching this as well. And that is it for now. I will end the stream, and then I'm ending it just now. So goodbye from Donut.